guys, my name is Annie.
And my name is Kevin.
And welcome to my channel. This video is highly requested. It's the story of how we met and both side perspective. I had a poll up in my story and it was probably like 60% of you guys chose the how we met story. I have some questions laid out, so it's just easier for us to it's just easier for us to tell our story and the timeline.
Perfect. Let's go.
We're going to tell you guys a little bit about, like our background and what we went through before we met each other. So, do you want to go first or I go first?
I can go first. So, as you guys may notice, I have a strong accent, and that's because I am originally from Austria. So, it's a German accent, and back then, my first and only relationship ended up not as I wanted to be. It was really hard for me to deal with it, with that I did the decision to kind of do a new start, like a restart somewhere else. Vienna is a small town, so you will run into people that you know, that they know, and so on and so on. So I needed a restart somewhere away from everything to kind of get my head clear. I convinced my mom to move to the US, and that's how my story began.
So, for me, I was actually never in a relationship before. Well, if you count like middle school or elementary school, then I don't think that's like real relationship. It's more of like you were kids and you don't really know anything. But like actual relationship, I have never experienced before I met Kevin. But before I met Kevin, I was actually very heartbroken as well because the guy I liked so much didn't like me back. And I think that also feel like you degraded your value and yourself a lot because, like you just really like this person and that person just doesn't give the love back, I would say. So definitely very heartbroken. So that's our love life before we met each other. We didn't have any luck with love before we met each other, guys. So yeah, that's a little background about our love story. How we met. So we met on Thanksgiving 2019. I remember it was on a Thursday.
Every Thanksgiving is on a Thursday.
Oh, I'm dead. That is so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, it was on a Thursday for sure.
Thank you for remembering.
But it was on the 28th.
No.
Yeah, it was on the 28th.
It was the 25th.
No. Look. The 28th. I remember it was on the 28th. Guys, I have good memories.
The scenario was how we first meet was actually I was renting a room at her uncle's house. And with her uncle and his family, I was already shy, I would say. I was not really interacting with them. I was, of course, nice and respectful for the opportunity to live with them. However, back then I was really insecure about my English, my accent. So therefore I didn't really interact with anybody and would kind of shelter myself in the room that I rented out. And at Thanksgiving, of course, my host family invited his part of the family, which Annie's a part of. And that was my first Thanksgiving in the US. So I went to my grandma's house to visit my grandma. And coming back home from my grandma, I was going straight to my room because I hear people in the living room having fun, and I'm like, I don't want to interrupt anyone. However, her uncle saw me coming in and invited me into the family, which on side was really nice of him. He didn't have to do it, but he wanted me to introduce to everyone. Funny enough, when I had to sit down for eating, her uncle sat me right next to Annie.
Yeah, we sat next to each other, even though there were like a lot of people.
Yeah.
In like at that dinner.
So yeah, that's my perspective.
Me, I mean, I also grew up in the US, but as an international student. So I came at 11, but throughout the years until now, or until last year, I was still an international student. I was on a student visa. So my family were not here. So I was living with like a host family. And then, so every holidays, my uncle and my aunts would invited me, my brother, and then my cousins to sit together and just kind of like celebrate together, which is pretty nice of them to do so because I remember it was really fun. So that was when I met Kevin. I remember I saw Kevin briefly when he walked out of the house though. Super tall guy, very tall. Like he just doesn't talk to anyone. I feel like he was just kind of avoiding interaction with everyone because of how shy he was. He was really, really shy. He would wait until like everyone sleep to like get out of his room and like make some food for himself. So that was how shy he was. But then I remember that we were, like we had Thanksgiving dinner, and then my uncle invited Kevin. And my cousins and I heard of Kevin before, so was very like looking forward to meet him because we know that he exists in the house. It's just we never see him. Like we would hear him, but like we would never see him though. Like yeah. So at that Thanksgiving, we sat next to each other. I don't know how. There were just so many seats, but fortunately, all the other seats were filled, and then he was like, we sat next to each other, and the first interaction was that he was passing me the plate and the fork. So it was just like a very, very brief interaction. So yeah, that was like the really first time we met. So on Thanksgiving, yeah, it was like the first time meeting him, but then like we get to know him a little bit. And then on Christmas break, my cousin and I also like had a chance to visit the house again. And then at this time, we already knew Kevin though, so it wasn't really awkward anymore. We played a ton of card game until like 5 in the morning. So that's how we bonded. So yeah, that's how it started. First impression. What was your first impression of me when you first met me?
I mean, because we met at Thanksgiving, didn't really had any first impression towards you. I'm like, oh, in my head I was like, oh, I want to go back to my room. I want to go back to my room. I don't want to be here because I'm a picky eater too, and everybody's eating like spring rolls, shrimp, jay, and I don't eat. Or back then I didn't really eat those items because they were foreign to me. Thanksgiving didn't have really any impression. I thought you were nice, but that's it, like everyone else.
Yeah.
However, during Christmas break, I saw a different side of you, which really struck me in a positive way, and that was, I remember, her cousins and uncles and family in general was like discussing, oh, let's go to this mall, let's go to this mall, let's go to this shopping center to shop around. But Annie was the only person who said, oh, I cannot go, I have to do my essay. So being that dedicated for school made me like, oh wow, she's so young. Well, not so young, but she's younger than me, but so much more dedicated for her career, which really stroked me in a way that made me feel like, oh, she might be interesting to be around with. That was the time where I really initiate the conversation, ask her for an Instagram and phone number to stay in contact with her, and then while we kept texting, I felt like more and more like, oh, This girl is really nice. It's really fun to hang out with, and
Really? First impression. So, really, first impression I got, like, just like briefly, okay? This is just like a briefly first impression because I saw him like walk out the house while my cousin and I were watching TV. I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy is so tall. That's literally like my first impression. First impression was just like, you're being so tall. And then my second impression was at the dinner where I was like, this guy is so shy. I mean, I'm like a very introvert person too, but I feel like you're like extreme. You're just really uncomfortable to be there. And you can tell, but then the thing is like you were very respectful, of course, and I mean, my cousin was his friend, and then but like you see like everyone was trying like their best to like that make you feel like more
Yeah.
comfortable. Oh my gosh, I remember something. I remember whenever we play card game, I always have a blanket with me because I always get cold, and you would always next to me using the
but-
same blanket.
yeah, because I was cold too.
Too.
Like, too.
Also, my cousin, it was like a huge blanket. So my cousin was also like like using the blanket as well. It's just like we just sit and you have a blanket like on your lap or something like that. So I think that was when we were pretty comfortable with each other already, just because we play. Oh my god, the card game was so loud. We got yelled at so much during the night because we would play until like 5 in the morning, guys. Like, the thing is, I didn't have any feelings for Kevin like he had for me in the beginning. When we were like keep in contact, we were pretty much good friends too.
I was friend zoned from the get-go.
Yeah.
But after that, it's more like, or I tried to kind of like, or show her that I really care for her. Because it was COVID, I couldn't really meet her because her guest host family didn't allow her to go out or meet anyone at the home. My host family, her uncles, didn't really allow me to go out because they were also scared. So I tried to do like little things for her to show her, hey, I think about you, or I hope you're okay. I would buy her boba, send it with DoorDash to her address, and text her, hey, there's boba in front of your door, you can pick it up. And then later on, when the quarantine was a little bit more loose, I would drive like for 2-3 hours in the rain in the traffic to her place just to see her. Dropping off boba, that's it. Like literally dropping off boba and drive back home for 2-3 hours.
Yeah, because my host family got so
Yeah.
Mad. They were like, why is he here? Like, you just wanted to hang out, even though like they were like, you cannot go out this house at all.
Yeah.
So Kevin just like drop off boba and then he just went home. That's it.
But yeah, so
Yeah, and then something that I think so I remember during that time, Kevin asked me out 3 times. I say no 3 times, guys. I didn't want to waste, his time because I think he's a really good guy. I think it was more of like good friends for me to hang out and stuff. Even though, yeah, we go on a couple dates, but you don't catch feelings on a couple dates, if that makes sense. Like you trying to know each other, and if it doesn't work out, then it's still like a good friend. So that was what happened. And then something that really, got me thinking was that little things that he did was like show me that he really cares. I mean, he drove 2 or 3 hours in the rain with his little car. It's not even waterproof. It's not.
to give you guys more information, it was waterproof, but I had like a 2001 convertible Volvo S70.
Oh, but I thought like the
but-
water was dripping.
But it was a soft roof and it was like already patched in many ways. So when it was strong rain, it would leak a little bit into the driving seat and through the window. So I couldn't really drove that kind of heavy rain.
Real.
Yeah.
But I think that's so like cute. Honestly, like if he wanted to, he would, guys. Like, I mean, his car wasn't the best. He wasn't the best like with his financial either. You have income, but it wasn't like a lot of income. But he still went out of his way to like pursued someone that he likes. So I think that's something that is really got me thinking. And then I started to realize I was like, wow, the whole time I like someone that doesn't even text me back, even like just ghosted me. On the other hand, there is this guy who was really trying his best, and cares and really cared that I exist. So I decided to give it a chance. So now we are here and we married. We don't have a wedding yet though, because we are saving up some money. Best decision ever.
We can share how I proposed maybe in a different storytelling video. So because I did some thoughts about it, and let me tell you, I had to change my plans 3 times
Why?
for the proposal.
Why?
But
Oh, because I didn't.
that's for a different
Okay,
video. You guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's a short video, but it's a cute story to tell.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about like our beginning of like when we started dating. A lot. Huh?
Do you want to start?
Sure.
Sure. Very demeanor.
Well, I know a lot of people out there say that you have to work on yourself before you get into a relationship. I think that is totally true, but that was not what happened to us. Cause when we met each other, we definitely was like in the worst self era. I was very insecure about how I look.
I had a really rough start.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the US, some events happened. My first couple of months in the US with my English, my living situation, everything was a little bit rough to me. Until then, everything else went, in an upwards motion. So I'm really grateful for the experience that I had at the beginning of my journey in the US.
After we met each other, we definitely grow a lot. The first year was definitely really hard for us because we both was not perfect. The thing is that I have traits that he doesn't have, and he has traits that I don't have. And I think that's something that is really important because we both are very open-minded to compromise each other and also
Learn from each
yeah,
other.
learn from each other as well. That's our story, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you again for watching, and thank you so much for the 20,000 followers.
On
I know,
Instagram.
yeah, this is literally like milestone for me. We're going to bed now, so bye bye.
Bye bye. Love you.